So I've had a bit of an epiphany really, and it's kind of goes in line with my core beliefs and how I've changed the last few years really. I got so fed up of just chasing things all the time, stress, money, work. There's just always something else to aim and achieve for. And I know at times that's great, and it's great to push yourself and always be, trying to get further ahead in life, maybe get that promotion, maybe have your own business. But I think sometimes you really need to zoom out and think, is it worth the extra hassle and stress that maybe you haven't really thought about and how it impacts the people around you? I think, the hustle culture, it's all we're told to do these days. Work hard, play hard, just do everything you can to get further ahead than your friends and your neighbours, just keep pushing it, keep grinding all the time. But in reality, when you zoom out, it all depends, how much do you actually need? And, what are your core beliefs? So I know personally, I've tried it. I'm always thinking of other businesses to set up alongside work as it is, going home, working evenings and weekends, and always thinking what I can do next and how I can get further ahead. And then you kind of have the realization that it's great doing that, but what it's doing is it's taking up my valuable time, taking time that I could be spending with my partner, my kids, my family, just out in nature, and basically just living now and just being more present. I think that's just where society and everything would just go in the wrong direction. Rather than embracing boredom and, just being happy with what we have, we're just striving for more, which is good to a certain degree. I understand people have worked hard and, come up with new ideas, and that's how we evolve as a society and human race. And, we kind of always look into the future. But at the same time, was it so bad in the past? When you look back 50, 60 years ago and life was so much simpler, were the people actually less happy then? Because I know obviously things happened, but I guarantee if you could take a poll today between the kids back then and the kids today, they were a lot happier back then with a lot less. And there was just a lot less pressure on society. I think a lot of it comes down to the social norms that we're around and taught every day, in the work, school, just online. We're just always being told to push for more, and just how if you're not pushing for more, you're doing something wrong. But it's just a load of rubbish. It's just not needed, because if you're always striving for more, when do you decide that you've got enough? And, when do you decide that you're actually happy with what you've got? Because all you're doing is you're on an endless treadmill. And that treadmill, where does it end? I worked with guys, and it's sad over the years. And, they've had good businesses, and they've always pushed hard, worked hard, long hours, long weekends, saved up their money, got into retirement. And within, a week of retiring, they've kind of popped their clogs and they're gone. They didn't even get to enjoy it. They didn't get to enjoy any of those riches that they thought they would work hard for the whole of their lives, and they didn't get to see any of it. But also what they did is they sacrificed their sacred time with their family and friends to build these businesses and, get all these material possessions. But then ultimately in the end, what they thought was going to be their golden years and they were going to enjoy themselves, they didn't get to do a thing. They didn't get to enjoy any of their rewards. So they kind of, you spent your life, maybe they did enjoy their work, but kind of spent their life working for nothing in the end, because you didn't get to actually enjoy it and spend your time with your family like you wanted to, and go on those holidays and everything that you planned on doing. So I think there's a lot to be said for just turning everything off sometimes, and maybe turning down the noise and the pressure from social media, society, your work colleagues. Maybe they're chasing stuff and, always want more money, bigger cars, bigger houses. But like I said, where does it end? At what point do you realise that, I've got more than enough now. I've got my health. I'm happy. I live in a beautiful part of the world. Well, apart from the 3 months of rain we had here in the UK. But, now the sun's shining. As long as you're looking after yourself, and you've got those good core principles about eating healthy and exercising, your mental health, spending time with people that you love, there's not a lot more really that you need to kind of be happy in some ways. So I just think it's definitely time just to reevaluate and kind of embrace life now and embrace the boredom a little bit. I think, when was the last time we were bored? When was the last time you actually went out for a walk, maybe without your phone or, just in nature? You weren't doom scrolling. You were actually, taking in the views and smelling the flowers, feeling the air on your face, and just generally doing the things that add just value to your life and kind of fill your bucket and make you feel great. So I just get this feeling that the world feels like it's been speeding up, especially since 2020, really, all the craziness. And then I think nothing slowed down. Everything just went crazy. And the world, it's like we've been on a treadmill and it's getting faster and faster. People wanting more and more. And obviously, the busier you are, the faster time goes. I just think it's a really important time to start embracing what you have now and embrace the boredom, really. Just turn off the screens in the evenings with your kids, with your family. Get out the old board games again. Maybe read some books rather than watching aimless TV at night and, just doing the simple stuff. Like I said, it's those times that you're going to remember more than the times of just sat on your ass, just watching 4 hours of Netflix. It's time and a place for it, but how much better do you feel after a walk outside on a sunny day, or going to spend time with friends and family or your kids, going down the beach, or just doing anything really? I think it's just important that we start embracing the simple times and simple life and kind of coming home again, really. Just maybe stop striving for more and just being content with what we have now. Like I said, it's always good to push yourself, but for every positive there's a negative. There's a yin and yang. There's always a equal and opposite effect. I think you need to look at that sometimes. You need to think, do I need to be working every hour? Does it actually pay off? Is it worth doing compared to having the time off? Like I said, I think there's a lot to think about. Basically just enjoy your life now. And it's okay to be bored at times and just reconnect with what really matters to you. So, those are my thoughts for today. And I'll speak to you soon.